welcome back to the Most Valuable Player podcast, and today we present to you Fight Club. Now, the number one rule of Fight Club, if you've all seen the movie, is we do not talk about Fight Club. But here, what do we do, Danny?
We talk about Fight Club.
That's it, that's how it is. So yeah, today we've got Danny on the show, and we're going to run through a few things. We're going to run through the Porter fight, we're going to run through what's next for these guys, and we're also going to run through some of the upcoming fights. So yeah, Danny, go for it.
Man, everybody who ever doubted Sean Porter, every bookmaker, every betting shop, you all owe Sean Porter an apology. The amount of resiliency, the amount of heart, this guy has the heart of a lion. You know, that fight has completely blown my mind. That, for me, is a fight of the year contender.
Absolutely, I agree. I wasn't shocked by the approach, because that's Sean Porter.
Yeah.
We've seen him for a few years now on the scene, on the main scene anyway. And every single time Sean Porter brings his A game, he brings that brawler style. But the fact that he actually had some success early, that's what surprised me. He had Errol Spence stumbled a few times. He had him pushing him back. He was catching him. Errol Spence didn't look devoid of ideas. Credit to him. He kept it real. He was on top for most of the fight, but the pressure was there. And at one point I was thinking, Porter looks like he's going to take this. Porter looks like he's going to take this. Porter looks like he's going to take this. That Crawford fight is not going to happen. And then, before you know it, 11th round, crash, bang. It was just a quick one, but he got back up. It was hard to get back up, but at that point, I think for him, it was over. You could see in that last minute of that round, he didn't really have anything left. And then in the last round, he tried in that first minute, but he was just swinging wild. It was like, you know, the reputation that Porter comes with. He's just a swinger, he's a brawler, he doesn't have skill. Apart from that, though, the rest of the fight, wow, absolutely amazed me. It was unbelievable.
Fabulous fight. I mean, like you said, I totally agree with the fact that Porter brought his A game. We know Porter's style is very in your face, very roughhouse, very aggressive. He's known for using his head. He's known sometimes to do low body shots and stuff like that. But yes, Errol Spence did adapt, but at times I did feel Errol Spence was not comfortable in that ring. Yeah. I did feel like this was a fight where Errol got tested. Everybody, you can't deny this. Everybody had Errol Spence winning that easily. Yeah. Some said by unanimous, some said by TKO. Yeah, no way. You know,
absolutely.
Porter, honestly, in certain rounds, I felt like Errol Spence was hurt. He did well to hide it. He did well to hide it, but I could see that some of the body shots that Porter was giving him were absolutely fantastic. But not to discredit him neither, because he adapted. Yeah, he did. And he adapted very well. A lot of times, there were certain times where literally, you know, Porter would come in with the roughhouse style, he'd wait, bang, counterpunch, strong, solid counterpunch. Then he'd go to the body, then he went to the head, and we know he's ferocious at body punches. That's Errol Spence's signature. Yeah. You know, you don't doubt his body punches, and you also don't doubt the toughness he brings.
Well, I think for me, he was nicking a lot of the early rounds, especially because they were so close at the beginning, and both guys had energy. And what was getting him through was the cleaner shots. It was a bit like when Kell Brook fought against Sean Porter, because a lot of people thought Sean Porter won that fight, but it was Kell Brook. If you watch it back, it was a lot of the cleaner shots. And I thought Errol Spence did that exactly right in the beginning. He was landing the cleaner shots. He was getting in a few of the scraps. He was trying to get out. But one thing I noticed a lot from Sean Porter, which I thought was a very good tactic, was every time he was spinning to the left. He didn't want to catch. He was spinning to the left. It was a masterstroke. It got him away from trouble, except from in that 11th round. But that, for me, it was one of them where you think to yourself, if they have a rematch now, how does Errol Spence prepare? Because the thing with Porter is you don't know what he's going to bring. He keeps you on your toes. He's different. The shots come from all angles. 1 minute he's here, 1 minute he's there. You know, it's just like, how do you prepare for that?
It was the adaptability. Obviously, he did figure it out later on. Like the first few rounds, I do give to Spence, because purely what did he do? He used his jab. Spence likes to control the fight from a mid sort of to a close. Yeah. Porter is very close, very roughhouse, very in-your-face type of guy. So, when he was controlling the jab, he was doing fantastic. Yeah. But like you said, the third, fourth, and fifth, up until maybe the 6th, I had Porter winning those rounds because he was in there, he was in the pockets, he was doing the damage. But yeah, that spin that you mentioned, mate, he done that numerous times to Spence.
And that's what had Spence a bit, you know, like maybe not confused, but thinking, this guy's figured that out, what's next? And that's what makes Spence great. That's what makes him great, because he kept knocking on the door. He was trying, like you say, he was going up, he was going down. He was taking chances, and ultimately it paid off. Now the scores, in my opinion, I personally had it at 114, 113. I think 115, 113 after the knockdown. If it didn't have the knockdown, I would have gone 114, 113 for Spence. You can't argue with that. I think the 116, 111. I think it was 116, 111. Disagree with that.
It was split decision, but I can see why it was split decision.
Yeah. Because
I'll be honest with you, I had it a draw up until the knockdown. I couldn't. It was too close for me.
Yeah.
I had it as a draw. Up until that knockdown, I think that was the sort of nail in the coffin, as they say. For me, Spence won that because after the knockdown, credit to Porter for getting up. It did remind me of the Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder get up.
Yeah.
I know that might have took a lot more out of Tyson.
Yeah.
But the fact of the matter is, he got up, he smiled, but he gave up then.
I love his style. Did you see afterwards? I was smiling.
Man. I became a fan.
Oh man, he's always done that. You know, he was one of the nicest guys. His dad is the opposite. He's a nice guy, but his dad is the talker. You know, Kenny, he's the talker. But Sean Porter, how you doing, sir? Good day, sir. Good on you, sir. You know,
he's a jazz player, isn't he?
Yeah, you know,
he dresses like one too. Like you see in Vegas on the piano.
He's just got that aura about him. So going on to that now, we'll start with the winner, Errol Spence. There's talk about J-Rock, Julian Williams, going up a weight class, maybe fighting him. He's the unified champion. Or there's talk of the big one with Terence Crawford. He personally said Terence Crawford can wait. We'll see what's on the table. Danny Garcia came in the ring. There's also Manny Pacquiao we mentioned. So where would you like to see Errol Spence Jr.
Personally, if not a rematch with Porter, I want to see him take on Crawford.
Yeah.
After that fight, I've got second doubts now. Can Spence really bring it to Crawford?
Okay.
Because he did adapt, but there were moments where I don't think he's ever been tested as much as he was tested today.
Yeah,
in that fight.
I think so too.
So
it was his toughest fight till date.
The one I want to see, and the one that I'd say majority of boxing want to see, is Terence Crawford versus Errol Spence. 3 belts on the line. Yeah. Let's unify the division and let's get Pacquiao involved. Issue is, Pacquiao doesn't want any intention of fighting these guys. Yeah. He's come out and said that. Yeah. And what they're going to do, they've brought Garcia in the ring. I've got no problem with Garcia. Yeah. But why does he deserve?
Garcia hasn't earned it, in my opinion.
Why does he deserve?
He hasn't earned it, in my opinion.
This is the issue that I have with boxing. Such a beautiful sport, but cross promotions, it's money talks in this sport.
Of course it is.
It's corrupt, it's money talks, and it's so angry that us fans, we stay up for these fights, we pay for pay-per-views, we watch these fights, we talk about these fights, yet the fights we want do not get made.
Absolutely, yeah.
The fight everybody wants, unify the division. What are you? That's the true champion. First of all, there's too much, I know this is going off on a tangent, but there's too much belts in boxing right now.
Yeah, I agree.
And there's too many sanctioning bodies.
I agree.
So you can say to me, like, WBA now have a super champion, an interim champion, and this champion. And even for a boxing fan who's been watching the sport for quite some time, it just get confusing, man. So that's why we want unifications. Why? Because unifications point you to the right champion.
Yeah, I agree. I'm 100% with you. I think Terence Crawford is the logical next fight. I think Sean Porter would be a good rematch, but I think for me, I want to see a unification fight. I want to see Terence Crawford get tested. Yeah. No disrespect to Amir Khan. I hope you're watching, but you weren't a test. Let's be honest. Yeah, let's move on to
He's
going to go to Saudi Arabia, fight another bum chum. You know what I mean? So let's forget Amir Khan for a second. But yeah, I think a genuine fight against Bud Crawford would be fireworks, box office.
It'd be his biggest buyout, without a doubt.
I mean, he was cussing out Crawford for only getting 100,000 views. Now, that fight, on paper, Khan versus Crawford, it doesn't seem like a big deal. I get it. Crawford is not the biggest name in boxing. You know,
that's because he's one of the promoter, though.
But that's right. That's
because his promoter doesn't put Bob Arum doesn't put him out there.
No, absolutely. I agree. So let Errol Spence just scrap that for a second. The 100,000 buys doesn't mean anything. What does is the fact that you and him should go head to head, because Manny Pacquiao doesn't really want to, at this stage in his career. He's finished. He's done everything. He's not scared of anyone. We know that. But he's an old man. He wants to run for presidency and senatorship and all of that. So let him do that. You two are in the peak and in the prime of your careers. You've got to get it on.
Let's get it on like Donkey Kong.
Well, yeah, absolutely. As Danny said, 100%. So now what happens with Sean Porter?
The logical step is obviously he fights someone lesser in the division, just to get his sort of confidence back up.
Who would you like to see him fight?
You know what?
Who springs to mind?
I'm gonna go and throw this one out. Yeah.
Yeah.
Amir Khan is a big name in boxing still.
I think Amir Khan's chasing a different fight.
He is. He's chasing the biggest fight he can get.
I think he's chasing maybe the Kell Brook or the money fight in Saudi Arabia, or
maybe the money
else,
fight. Maybe the money fight. He's not chasing. He's not chasing Kell Brook. Man. He doesn't want no Kell Brook. This fight. Every year you hear about, oh, let's bring this fight in again. Let's bring this fight in. He's not chasing Kell Brook. You don't want to fight Kell Brook. If he fights Kell Brook and loses, what happens? For him, that's his reputation tarnished. Why not put... But Amir Khan is still a big draw, mate.
Oh, no,
whether you like him or you don't like him, he brings what Sean Porter brings to the table. That you don't know what's going to happen with him. You don't know the tactic.
True.
You know someone's going to get knocked down in a couple of rounds. Most likely it's him. Yeah. But nevertheless, why not put Amir Khan and Sean Porter?
The reason why I don't think that will happen, and I think Khan is a bit of a pride guy, not in the sense that he'll think, I don't want Kell Brook's leftovers. Kell Brook fought this guy.
Possibly.
Kell Brook beat this guy. If it's a risk for me, if I don't beat this guy, he's not a champion. What's in it for me? I don't think he goes down that road personally. I mean, I might be wrong, but it's highly unlikely. I think Keith Thurman. Because Keith Thurman lost to Pacquiao. He needs a big fight.
But Keith Thurman beat Porter.
Yeah, I know. But that
was also a fight of the year contender.
But let's just be honest. That performance from Porter was not a performance where you think, nah, this guy's no good. He doesn't deserve to be.
It was a close fight.
Absolutely. If the rematch doesn't happen, that's the fight they should make, because both guys deserve another chance. Both guys have done enough in their career, enough in their last fight. They should go head to head. That's my opinion. And then the winner of that, however it all works, I don't know, because there's that many. If they can get a shot at Pacquiao, if they can get a shot at Errol Spence or Crawford, or the winner of either of that fight, that's what I think they should happen.
He's got to go back to the drawing board, innit? But he holds his head high, and that's the cool thing. It's like sometimes in football, 1-0, doesn't necessarily mean that other team's been very well. Like, I give you an example. Look at Liverpool yesterday. You know what I mean? But with Porter, I do genuinely feel sorry for Porter. He's lost his belt, but the effort he put on there, and the heart of a lion, he came forward. He didn't. We thought this was going to be a whitewash. Everyone did. Yeah. And I just genuinely feel sorry for him.
He's still smiling, so peace out to him. But he
made $2 million off that fight. So I think that hurts less.
Kenny's going to be happy. I'll tell you that. Papa Kenny's going to be happy. But so going on, we've got some big fights coming up, and just to let you guys know, this channel is going to be about boxing. It's going to be about UFC, and right now we're on the boxing. So
word on the street is this fight's going to be a knockout, or this podcast is going to be a knockout. So you lot keep watching, yeah.
Absolutely. So we
might need to go 12 rounds.
No, I'm too tired. We literally have just come from the fight, and now we're filming this for you guys. So you guys better get out there and share the hell out of this.
This is for us, by us kind of thing. The people make it, and the people listen to it. Absolutely. Share us. Absolutely. Let us know your opinions. Absolutely. We want debates. We want more interaction with you. So if any time there's something you don't agree with, pop it in the comments. Test us. We'll have a debate if you want. We'll pull up. We want the smoke.
Absolutely. But so going forward, looking forward now, the next month or so, we've got a couple of big fights. I mean, what stands out to you? What's the biggest fight you're looking forward to?
In terms of the biggest fights, obviously today, Deontay Wilder and Ortiz was announced.
Yeah, big fight.
Rematch. It is a big fight, but you're talking of a guy who's pushing 40 on the age.
I know, but these Cubans age differently. You look at Yoel Romero in the UFC, and he's like 40 as well, and he has got cardio like nobody I've ever seen. So these Cubans are different. They're made differently. So I think he'll be fine. It'll be
a good fight. The last fight was not a bad fight between those two. No, it wasn't. I do remember Deontay Wilder getting rocked. Yeah. I don't remember if it was the 9th or the 11th round.
I think it was the 9th.
Was it the 9th?
Yeah.
It was a while back, but Wilder got rocked, but then he did deal with him.
But then he dealt with him in the 11th or the 10th or something, yeah.
So he did put him down. Obviously, Canelo versus Crusher, I'm not really sure how I feel about that. I think the Crusher's pushing age. I think that'll be his last fight.
But Canelo is pushing it by going up to a level he's never been to.
But I think he'll beat him.
That's going to be tough.
I think he'll beat him. I think he's fighting him at
the right time.
Yeah, the right time for him.
The wrong time for the Crusher.
Because you look at Crusher and look at his performance against Anthony Yard. You know what I mean? He was it the 10th or the 11th? He was
on the verge of finishing.
Yeah, he was struggling. Absolutely. It was struggling.
But absolutely. No, I agree. So we've got those, and then obviously we've got the big one in December, Andy Ruiz, McDonald's Diet Jr. versus Anthony Joshua. So that should be interesting as well. So guys, thank you very much for tuning in. We're going to call it a wrap there. Please like, share and subscribe this video. Please leave your comments. We want to know what you think of the fight, what your best fights are, and what you're most looking forward to. And yeah, you'll see us very soon. Peace.